Hi, my name is Sherman McRae, and I work for FamilyTreeDNA, and today I'll be giving you a brief presentation on our Discover tool titled Discovering Your Y-DNA Haplogroup, a guided tour through FamilyTreeDNA's Discover reports. Discover is a free Y-DNA tool that helps individuals find common ancestors and make family connections more easily and efficiently. Discover provides a reliable estimate for your time to your most recent common ancestor between two people based on SNPs and without using traditional family trees. So, depending on your branch, your time to your most recent common ancestor could vary. If your common ancestor was 60, 70 years ago, then this tool will be able to provide you an estimate within a specific range. And of course, it does the same for a more distant common ancestry. But overall, this is a really innovative tool that significantly reduces the amount of legwork needed to find a common ancestor and make family connections. Testers who have done autosomal testing or regular YSCR testing will receive a more granular and basic type of haplogroup that's further back in time. And so to really be able to utilize the Y-DNA Discover tool, you'll need to do deep SNP testing like the Big Y700. And the Big Y700 is a really all-inclusive Y-DNA test. There's no need to do any further testing after that. And so with that, you'll be able to get your STRs tested and your SNPs as well. And so with those SNPs being tested, we're able to estimate where your common ancestor is with your matches, whether you guys are related, you know, 60 years ago or 60,000 years ago. In addition to that, you also be able to identify your family's unique genetic signature. You also receive a lifetime analysis as well as being able to contribute to scientific advancement to further the Y-DNA tree of mankind. The Haplogroup Story is this overview page that summarizes everything about your specific genetic branch. It's the starting point before you start exploring other tools. You'll see key information like when this branch emerged, the age of the shared ancestor for everyone in this haplogroup, how many other branches have split off from it, and which countries today have the highest concentration of people from this lineage. There are also badges showing which historical periods this haplogroup appears in, whether it's from the ancient Stone Age populations or Bronze Age migrations. Every data point includes a button you can click to learn the methodology behind it. This gives you the foundation you need to understand the more detailed features like the time tree and ancient connections. The Y-DNA Discovered Country Frequency Report is a visual representation of the self-reported countries of origin for Y-DNA haplogroups. It provides a wealth of statistical information about haplogroups and their ancestral paths. This report includes academic and archaeological samples that we've added to the database, but it's important to remember that the countries listed are self-reported and testers within our database supply that information, and it's not necessarily based on DNA results. And this is a different view of the country frequency report for the specific haplogroup. The notable connection shows how you're related to famous historical and modern people through your direct paternal lineage. And so, with that, you'll get a biography of each person as well as an estimate for your shared ancestor between you and the notable person. And so, these are fun facts that show deep ancestral connections on the human tree. And they're not always recent genealogical relationships. But as you can see here, there are some branches where you may share a more recent common ancestor within the last few hundred years. The Y-DNA migration maps help you visualize your direct paternal ancestors' historical and anthropological migrations. It shows general migration paths for the major haplogroups, but we'd like to note that these lines and arrows on this map are not specific to exact locations, but rather they are meant to provide a general migration direction. And this is a migration map that I included for haplogroup QM242. The Globetrekker is an interactive mapping feature for Big Y customers and essentially visualizes your paternal line's migration path out of Africa into your present day haplogroup. And so throughout the course of time, if you're watching this video, you'll see the different SNPs and regions where they migrated into. And so it's pretty cool. And this is another Globetrekker image where you could see how this haplogroup formed and the route that it took. If you look at the map, you can see the different SNPs and where in the world they probably formed. So I really like the Globetrekker feature, and it's updated periodically to insert new migration routes. Ancient Connections links you to real people from archaeological excavations whose DNA has been sequenced. And so FamilyTreeDNA has incorporated and analyzed thousands of academic and archaeological samples, and each connection shows you where they were found, when they lived, and where you shared a common ancestor. This anchors your haplogroup in the actual time and place, showing you where your paternal ancestors were throughout history. This is another screenshot showing you more ancient connections. This is from Native American branch QM242. The time tree is probably the most popular discovery report. I mean, it really revolutionized the way we were able to look at our matches and predict where we share a common ancestor. And of course, prior to that, we had the block tree, but with the time tree report, it just really made it easier to see how we're related to the people, not only within our own haplogroup, but even figuring out the time to your your shared ancestor with more distant connections. The match time tree is a more recent addition to the Discover reports. And so instead of just seeing a list of your matches, this tool allows you to see where they fit in within your genetic family tree and when your shared ancestors live. You can view your matches' earliest known ancestor locations and see exactly which branches they're on, thus allowing a better context of your genealogical connection. And ultimately, this saves a lot of time in your research, because now you're able to bring together your matches and the haplotree in one consolidated view. The Ancestral Path is essentially your complete genetic roadmap going backwards in time. It lists every single haplogroup in your direct paternal line, starting with you and going all the way back to Y-chromosome Adam. But what makes this tool really useful is that it shows you the time gaps between each branching points. As you look there, you'll see columns showing how many years passed between haplogroups and how many descendants branched off at each step. This helps you spot population bottlenecks where only a single lineage survived for thousands of years versus population explosions where branches started to split off rapidly. The number of steps in your path depends on how well research your specific haplogroup is, and it keeps growing as more people continue to test. The suggested projects feature points you toward FamilyTreeDNA's collaborative research communities that match your specific lineages. These are volunteer-run groups organized around different research categories. And so when you view this feature in Discover, you'll see recommendations for which communities include other people who share your genetic signature. This is valuable because these groups have dedicated administrators who've spent years analyzing research patterns within specific lineages and can help interpret your results. Joining these communities is completely free and won't affect your ability to see matches across the entire database. You can think of it as connecting with ready-made research team, essentially people who are already investigating the same ancestral lines you're curious about. Compare Haplogroups is a free tool that lets you put any two genetic branches side by side to understand how they relate. You simply enter two haplogroup names, whether they're from your matches, project members, or just ones you're curious about, and the system shows you their relationship. It displays when these branches separated from their shared ancestor, traces both lineages back to the convergence point on a tree, and calculates the time depth to that common ancestor. This works whether you're comparing closely related lineages or completely different ones. The tool also highlights interesting parallels. Maybe both branches connect to the same ancient populations or share connections to notable historical figures. This is also incredibly useful when you're trying to understand how you relate to a DNA match also. So we've covered a lot of ground today, from notable connections linking you to famous figures, as well as seeing how you relate to academic and archaeological samples found all throughout the world. And then we have Globetrekker's animated migration paths, um, as well as the time tree showing you how you related to a multitude of haplogroups across hundreds of thousands of years, as well as the match time tree putting your actual DNA matches on a timeline, and the ancestral path mapping every genetic step back to Y-chromosome atom. But here's what this means for your genealogy. These aren't just fun facts. These are research tools that can help break through brick walls that traditional records can't touch. When paper trails end in the 17 or 1800s, your DNA keeps going. When courthouse fires destroy records, your genetic signature remains intact. The Y-DNA Discovery platform gives you something unprecedented: the ability to see your paternal lineage in both deep time and recent genealogical time, all in one integrated system. You can identify which branch of a surname you belong to, pinpoint which lineage is split, confirm or reject theories about ancestry, and connect with living cousins who share your research goals. This is the frontier of genealogy, where genetics meets traditional research. If you haven't explored our Discover yet, or if you've been considering upgrading a Big Y 700, now's the perfect time. Your ancestors left you a genetic breadcrumb trail, and these tools help you follow it home.